I've just started the recording, and you can see lecture 320. It's Thursday the 18th, and we're working on our lid features for the commercial renovation. There's a big list of what to do this week, but we've been over that, and I think everybody's going okay. I'm going to do some lecturing on rendering and backgrounds and how you can make your visuals look pretty nice. And it's optional. This is optional. You don't have to add a background like I'm going to show you how to do. But we see that in industry, good visuals sell the job. And so getting good with your visual presentation skills is important. This is an introductory class, so we certainly don't require it. There's enough to learn um, just by getting these tools down. But if you happen to like know a little bit about visuals and graphics already, and if you're sort of ahead of the game, you can start adding on to your skills here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to add a background image and note that it is not required. And then when we're done, you'll have a chance to just ask questions. Tomorrow in the lab, we will work on just answering questions, making your presentation look good, and all that kind of stuff. Remember, next week is sort of a pull it all together week. You're going to make um, the starting version of your final portfolio and learn how to pick and choose stuff and pull it together very, very well. And there's many ways that you can do that. So you can try it next week, and then if it turns out that you see something better or you like something better, you can redo it in the last week. All right, so here we go. Adding an optional background. I am in VMware, and I'm going to do SketchUp first. It's a little more clunky than Revit. You're going to find it's not as good and easy as Revit, but it's still not too bad. Now, the way you put a background image in is literally you make a big screen, a rectangle, and you put an image on it. So let me do that. I'm going to go to my top view, and this is all kind of messed up. Oh, and by the way, I should also show you about shadows. I have shadows turned off right now. I think these camera views are all over in the other one, so I can delete that one. I think they're over there already. This over here. There we go. Now I got a little bit more room. So you can turn shadows on and off, which is kind of neat. Let me go to one of my scenes. Well, that's not a very good view. Got a lot of stuff on here. Hold on a sec. I'm going to go to a more simple view just to show what's going on. Okay, there we go. And so if I want to, I can turn shadows on. I turn shadows and it puts shadows in, and you can change the time of day. And you can actually set these in a scene too. See how you can change the time of day, and you can even, for a given time of day, change the month. This is based on your location, which I'm not really remembering where you do it. Revit is the same. Yes, you can turn shadows on. May asks, is Revit the same? Yes, we're not going to do that right now, but I wanted to show it to you here. Revit is a little more complex because it does more. Okay, so there we go. So we've got that. So now I want to turn on, I want to put a background in. So I'm gonna draw somewhere near here a great big screen that I can put my background on so that I see it kind of wherever. wherever I'm looking from. There, the great big screen, or it's gonna be. Then I can draw upward. Remember, that's in the blue axis. And I'm going to go up maybe 50 feet, just so that I've got it really covered. Blue axis, 50 feet. Then I can connect those. There we go. So I've got like a movie screen. And then I'm going to put a material on it. I need to make a new material. And I'm going to call it backdrop. Once I've got that down here, below the color wheel, you'll see use a texture image. And if you go way over to the right, you can see a little folder that says pick that folder. And I downloaded an image. And I actually put it in Revit. So here's my suburban backdrop. I just typed in and Google and found an image. And I want it to be 50 feet high. Okay. And now I can put that image. I think I can put it on there. Come on. Oh, I'm in the wrong kind of view. I need to be in a. I don't know why that's not going. Did it go on to the other side? No. I don't know why that's not going on. Shadows are off. Bum, bum, bum. I'm in my shaded. There it is. I needed to have my colors on. Now you can see I should have made that bigger. Right? So I can adjust the size of that to be taller. Or I think I can even just move this down. There we go. But I could change my image to make it look bigger. So now when I zoom in, look at my swale, it looks like there's a fence back there. It looks like there's some buildings in the background. So that's how you have to do it. And look, I just grabbed an image and it's tagged and stuff. But that's how you would do it. And then you can then export this view to a graphic. It really makes me feel, I'll tell you, it makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. Demo file 2, backdrop 1. Yes, May, I'm going to do this for Revit too. I will. Absolutely. Okay. I think I said that I was going to do it, but it's always good to check in on me. Okay, so let's see. Let's do a real quick look now and see what that looks like when I find it in my files. But that's how you do it. It's a little bit tougher in SketchUp. Here it is. There's my JPEG file. There. But that's not too bad. It lets somebody think, oh, well, there's a fence over there and there's something on the other side. You can really do work with the size of your image. You can resize your image. You can, so that it sets up on that tile a little bit better. Some of you did that already. You can get rid of this silly thing, right? There's all sorts of stuff you can do if you want to spend time working on your image. But that's not too bad considering, how else would you get all this in here? Okay, so here's the takeaway. Remember, when you work with SketchUp, and you want a background, you actually have to draw like a screen or a plane for you to put the background on, and then you have to put it on as a material. You have to create a material and put it on there. Okay, so I could have maybe worked with the width of it instead of the height. Let's do a quick edit of that thing if I can. If instead of the height, if I had worked on the width, see how that comes out a little bit better, and I could even do more. I could make it like 70 feet wide. That's too much. Let's go back to 60. Oh, I don't know what I just did. Oh, 60 feet. Put this foot symbol in. 70 feet. There we go. Now you can see it looks more like one, and I can move that top edge up. And you know, I can even move that whole thing down. And look, if you're going to move this around some, remember, you want to make it into a, a group so that I can move the whole thing around. Because maybe I want to lower it to get a little bit better image or picture of what I was looking for. Okay, so there's playing around to do, but you can do it. It works. And of course, you know, you can select images that look a little sharper. You can select images that look there. Wow, that's not bad. I'm impressing myself with my skills. Totally impressing myself with my skills. Now, if you were a graphic artist, you'd be going, you have horrible skills. So I'm not trying to teach you graphic arts. I'm trying to teach you how to apply graphic arts within this program. So if you wanted this to look nice, you'd want a sharper background and things like that. Although, let's check and see what my styles looks like if I change the styles a little bit. I can change my styles to the default styles. No, it's still pretty crummy photo. It's just blurry back there. Okay. For those of you who have used SketchUp or are using SketchUp, is that helpful for making your views look a little better? I mean, it's cool to show your stuff, but you really kind of want to do this. And if you are using this, you know, professionally as landscape or something, you would go out and take photos of the vicinity so that you could put those photos up here so people could recognize what it's going to look like in their environment. Okay, so I'm going to file save as. That's how you put a background into SketchUp. So I'm going to close SketchUp now, and I'm going to open Revit. And you can see in many ways, and I haven't done much with my shadows and my lighting and things like that. This is another one that I put in. And so let me show you how to do this in Revit. Okay. So I'll go do this on another view. So let me pick one of my other views. One of my renderings. So I think what I need to do is put in another camera view. So let me go to my 3D build. And I'll put a camera view kind of in the same thing just because that's the thing I've got. But I'll look from back here over this way. There it is. Now, what I notice is this particular one already has a wall around it. So I'm going to, because I was using it for something else, I'm going to hide that element so that I really just see that. And I want to see in the background there, I want to see something, right? I want to see something back there. So here's how we do it in Revit. Okay, so I'm going to go to this view, which is now my 3D view number 2, and I'm going to go to my render button. And all of the items are, Janice asks if this is being recorded, and the answer is yes, it is being recorded. So I'm going to go to my render button, and we've seen this one before already. Okay, and I'm going to do medium. For what we're doing, that's fine. And here's the background. So I can do all sorts of different backgrounds. I can do a solid color and render it. And you'll see a solid color, which is kind of getting there, but it's still not that great. Oh, and you know what? I need to make this view a little bit higher, don't I? Remember how I have to always change the height? That looks a little better. So that was my render with a blue background. And I think from here, I can pick all sorts of colors. So that's kind of neato. I can do an image. That's what I'm looking for. An image. And I can go and search for my image. And this time I'll put in Suburban Backdrop 2, which is this one. Just because I wanted to pick a different one. It doesn't matter. I could pick any image that I want. And stretch means that it's going to make it fit into this box, which is this box as best as it can look. Okay, so I'm going to stretch it to fill it out. There are times when you absolutely don't want to do that and you want the original size or fit the width or fit the height, but I'm just going to stretch it to fit that whole box. And I can render now. So you see, this is a little bit easier. And that looks cool, but it's like, would I really just see the top of the house? That's kind of weird. So that's not looking so good. I better customize that image somehow. Well, what I'd really like to do is see this line here somewhere up a little bit higher. So let me do this height offset and move it up a bit. And I'm guessing, I don't know how far it should go. Render that one. Well, now it looks a little bit better, right? And I might want to adjust my height even more so that I'm kind of looking down a little bit more. Okay, and if I feel like it, move this a little bit, maybe move that up a little bit. There we go. Go back to my render. So this is just learning how to play around. Let's see how it looks now. Learning how to use this to get the output that you want. So I'm not gonna, that looks kind of neato, except for this big white area over here. What's with that? So now I've got it a little too high, right? So I either need to play with that image a little bit more. There. That's kind of cool. Now, maybe you want it to look different. Maybe you got more, maybe you got less. Maybe you want to move over here more and look more straight out. It's up to you. What I'm doing is I'm showing you the tool, not the outcome of the tool, right? You can put better materials on here, better materials on here. You can have your swale out there. You can do all sorts of stuff. Um, that's sort of what we would be looking like. Let's see, which one am I on here? I'm on built. I'm not sure I did that one. I did my camera on my built either. I didn't want to delete it. I just wanted to hide it. Now I'm seeing some other different stuff. And this one doesn't have a driveway, right? I can adjust these. So there's lots of capabilities in here for you to adjust and work with. And it's a little bit more adjustable and easier to work with than is SketchUp. But SketchUp gives you that real quick hit, right? Really gives you a nice quick. There we go. That's kind of a nicer kind of look of what I'm looking for there. So let me go ahead and render this one finally for a last try. Going to be under view, render, medium, background is an image. I can put that same one back in here. I can put the other one in if I want. Doesn't matter. I can use as many different ones of these as I want in this file. So again, you can see that's kind of off a little bit there. So I need to customize the image and move it up. Again. See if I get some fence line in. A little bit better. I think I want to move it up even just a little bit more. Go up. There we go. Let's see how that looks. And then that's going to be, there we go. So now we got, here's the site, here's a fence, here's some stuff on the other side. If my trees were in here, it would really look cool and I could get everything kind of evened up. Remember that you can adjust your exposures, maybe make it a little bit brighter if you wanted to, or oops, wrong one, adjust exposure, maybe make the shadows even just a little bit lighter. And the highlights, you can just barely change some of these. There we go. So if you are, well, May, so the idea, yeah, you can, May ask, can you use any image? Yes, you can. And look, I've seen people put really cool images back there, pardon me. Um, that have nothing to do with the site. You can put a big Black Lives Matter sign up there, man. That'd be kind of cool. You can put anything up there so long as it helps you get the point across about your design. Remember, the purpose of your visualizations is to get somebody to buy your design. And so you want to make it something that helps you do that. So if it detracts from your design, you wouldn't want to do that. If it adds to your design in some way, people go, I'm not really sure what that'll look like. Well, here it is right here. But yeah, you can put anything back there. And you can put no clouds, a few clouds, very cloudy. You put a color back there, all sorts of different things that you can do. Oh, and once you've got that, let me go back. Oop, why I just did that. Here we are here. Let me go back to my render. After you've rendered it, go back to my image. All looking okay. Let me re-render that really quickly. You want to save it into your file. So I save it into my project when I'm done. And then it puts a new category down at the bottom of renderings. And there's my actual image that you can copy and paste and do things with. Okay. Is that kind of cool? All right, so good questions so far. Are there any more questions on either Revit or SketchUp about how to put a background image in? So May asks just one side. It's up to you. This is not required, right? This is not a requirement. How many sides? I'm going to let you figure that one out. What do you want to show? You don't have to have any. Um, you could put the same thing on all four sides. You could put different images up on each side. It's easier to do in Revit. In SketchUp, well, let me just show you in SketchUp what people tend to do. If they're going to have to do it a bunch. Once they've got one view done, let's say I want that thing now. Did I make that a group? Yes. Say I want to take the other end now. And remember, I have to rotate it. Right? I put the protractor down, draw a line, click, rotate it however many degrees I want. Now I can get my other ones. That's showing Myco all set up. And this is probably a little piece of street right over here. I can go File, Export a 2D graphic. Better put it in my files. Number 2. So that's how you deal with it often if you've got multiple ones, unless you've taken a lot of pictures and can lay them around, but they look really good. Okay, so those are all good questions so far. Any more? How about we look where you might put this? In your template, this would be a good place to put it. And you can have one view here, or you can have a few different views. Remember, I'm going to let you set this up as you wish. Some people might want to continue on with this type of format where they've got one big view, then a couple of other good visualizations of it. Some people might want to do existing, built, landscaped, something like that. Or you might want the same view with 3 or 4 different styles. Okay. But if you feel like having an image backdrop, it will help you determine sort of where this view ought to come from. Okay, you can see this is a little bit sterile just sitting out here all on its own, right? Little bit just sort of on its own. So you could put one up there, move yourself in a little bit. It's hard to figure out where you want to take it from. Okay, but this is an ideal place to put some of the backdrops in if you feel like it. They are absolutely not required. See right here, this one is perfectly good without it. I need to get rid of those because those should be blank for you to be able to do your work with. You'll have to get rid of those because you don't get to use my work. You're going to show me your work. Okay. Further questions? Anything I need to demonstrate for you? Okay, pretty easy cheesy then. Going. Oh, yes. So May asks about how to submit this. So let me demonstrate that for you. So here's this file, week 9. Let me go get week 8. And there's week 8. So here's how you do it. You open week 9, select all of them. I do the bottom one, hold the shift key down, do the top one. Right click, copy. Go to week 8 and just down below, right click, paste. Now they're all in one. Okay, and so I can look at the whole thing to see your whole progress and how you've done that. Okay, so that's how you would do it. Now I'm going to undo those. That was our little demonstration of it. Okay. So, any other? Those are all good questions. Thank you guys for bringing these things up. Sometimes I think things are obvious, and they're obvious to me because I thought it up. It doesn't mean it's obvious to somebody on the other side. So Janice says the signs are not as nice as in SketchUp. Can we put other ones in? I'm going to show you something really cool now. Okay, so here's my SketchUp sign. Maybe I think I just locked up, and I'm going to try to do this. I think I know how to do this. Okay, so I've made a group out of this. It's in SketchUp, and I think that I can make it, I think I can copy it. I can make it a component. I'll call the component sign. I'm trying to remember how to do this as I go. And then I should, I'm going to copy it and put it into a new file. Yeah, I'll save it. Okay, so I made it a component. Now I'm going to paste it right into place, right onto Google woman, whoever that is. There it is. Okay, it's there. Might be backwards, might be forwards, I don't know, but it's there. And I'm going to save that as its own thing. Save as. And there are tons of great ones out there, but sometimes you just want what you want. Sign to import. You go find it in SketchUp or make it in SketchUp and do what you want to do, and then put it in here. Okay, now check this out. I've got that. I can go to my Revit and make it big. I'm going to go to my site plan, new construction, and I'm going to go insert a CAD file. And when I look at it says I can put a SketchUp file right in here. SketchUp file, sign to import. And I will, this is just like doing the barrel out of AutoCAD. Manual to center. I'll put it at level 1. I'll stick it out here for now because I need to know what elevation to put it at. Remember that was go to annotate and find the spot. And if I'm going to put it right there, it's 3.5 feet. So I'm going to put it like at 3 feet. So it's sort of stuck in the ground. Click. 3 feet. Then I'm going to move that thing into place. And there we go. Now I've got it. It is there. Is that awesome? I love that. I don't know what color I made it. So it'll pick up. I'm not sure what textures it brings up. Okay, so Janice, the answer is there are tons out there. And in other classes, you'll learn how to actually make them. Maybe we'll do that in this class also. So May asks, can you draw it in Revit? I think I have time. So here we go. I will give it a try. I will try to teach you a very simple way. So you really learn that skill in Design 328 and Design 325. Okay? That's where you're supposed to learn how to model things in Revit. Well, let's just see if I can figure out how to if I can show you how to do that easily. So I'm going to, well, first of all, let me see, ask Janice, does that answer your question? Number 1?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, now I'll go on to May's question. Can we draw it in Revit? And the answer is yes, and I'm going to try to figure out the super simple way to do that. So, file. All don't know why I keep locking up when I'm in the middle of this. Because it didn't happen earlier today for me at all. Yours is the only class it seems to do that on. So I'm moving some stuff around to see if we can clear this up so it doesn't work so hard. Okay. And I'm not going to save it. Okay. So when you make a little piece of something that's going to go into a model, they call that a family. So you're going to create a new family. And we're going to go into our English Imperial set. And we're going to do one called, they might even have one in here. It could be one called Site. But I tend, when I'm making these, to make what's called just a plain old generic model. I'm going to click that, generic model. And we'll make the bottom of it a rectangle. So this works a lot like what you've done before. And I'll make it 6 foot wide by 9 inches sounds good. And then up here, I have to tell it how tall I want it to be. They call that depth. So I'll make it 4 feet. Click. And now I can go look at that in 3D and I've got the start of a sign. Now, the trick is our annotations are going to be a little bit tough. I can put an annotation on that, I think. But let me just see. Now it just adds it to the current view. Uh, 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 uh. This is where it gets hard because they really don't have those lettering options that we've got. So you'd have to actually make a bunch of the letters to get them done. So this isn't really the easiest way to do it. I think your best way to do it, just because of some of the limitations, and I don't want to go through a ton of work for this. And you can do it. You can trace those shapes out of the letters and you can extrude them or emboss them. It'd actually be easier to do it in Inventor and then import your Inventor file, turn it into an AutoCAD file and import it. Okay. So I think I'm going to skip on this one. I don't see the super easy way to get it done. Okay. Now you can't import CAD right into here. If you look at that, that's where I'm saying you want to make it a family. You can import your work from AutoCAD or Inventor and put it right in here. Okay. And that way you can have your emboss and all that other kind of stuff. Okay. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna close that one out and say nah. Do it in SketchUp, Inventor, or AutoCAD, excuse me, and bring it in. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, Just to clarify, you want actually week 6, 7, 8, and 9
No,
all together?
just 8 and 9.
Just 8 and 9 this week
Yep,
together.
yep, yeah.
Okay.
This week is just 8 and 9. It's next week we're going to really pull them all together. This time
Okay.
it's only 8 and 9.
Thank you.
Cool. Other good questions. All righty-o then. I will turn off the recording